everybody. Welcome to the HR Morning Show, the number one spot for all things HR all morning long. And we're not kidding. All morning long, we're here to give it to you. And we're part of Purple Acorn, the only online community for HR professionals, decision makers, tech-savvy individuals, and entrepreneurs interested in the latest HR news and updates. Don't believe me? Head on over to purpleacorn.io, check it out on the bottom, and see for yourself. My name is Adam Posner, and I have two amazing co-hosts that I am thrilled to welcome. We have Joel Lalgee and Danielle Farage. Hey, guys, what's happening?
Hey,
Hey.
what's
Hey.
happening?
What's happening? Joel, where, let's remind people, or let's tell people,
Yeah.
where on this fine earth do you live?
I am in Wisconsin, representing the Midwest. It's hot and sweaty here. How about you guys? Danielle,
Let's
where are you?
go.
Where are you at?
I'm in NYC, baby. Let's go.
Danielle is representing the NYC. Well, welcome, everyone. Danielle, let me ask you a question. How do you stay cool in New York City?
I stay inside. How about you?
I'm in the burbs. I'm out here on Long Island, as people like to say.
Long Island.
But I like to cool off in my pool. I just got this waterproof case for my MacBook, so I could just sit in the pool. And that's the beauty of being a recruiter, right? I could just sit in the pool all day. No one knows what I'm doing. No one knows what I'm at. But it's time to get on with the show.
Do you have a
Let's
pool
get to it.
under your desk? That's what I want to know.
I have a pool. It's so hot that I have a pool under my desk today.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Remote work,
fine.
baby.
Remote work.
It works
Are
for you.
Are you guys down with SOP?
No.
No, you don't know what that you don't know
We'll see.
anything.
I don't
No,
know what that means.
guys, we have a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about should politics be talked about in the office? Is using AI on the job assessment sheeting? We have a great show lined up, but let's kick things off with a video click up posted this week that can only be described as a deleted scene from The Office. Right? Let's get to it.
God.
We're not family. Please treat me professionally. You can't touch this. Hands. Not touching hands. You down with SOP? Who's down with SOP? Don't stand so close to Steve. After all, it's a business call. Don't get physical. Don't wanna get physical. Don't you get physical.
Danielle, as our resident Gen Z expert, cringe scale 1 to 10, what do you give this one?
Beyond. I'm speechless. My jaw is on the floor. I feel like I didn't know I was going to an Adam Lambert concert this morning, but apparently here we are.
It is. Well, side note, have you guys seen the movie Ricky Stenicki?
No.
Okay, we'll pause that when we get back to it later. But they do a lot of these videos. I actually a couple of songs I like, but we're moving on. I mean, we have to eliminate the cringe here. So let's.
I
keep the
don't
show
see what
moving.
was wrong with that video.
Eliminate it from my mind, please.
What was wrong with the video, Joel?
I don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, I went and looked at it on social media. It seems like it's the best performing video they've ever done. And why wouldn't you want to go viral with that?
I can't unsee it though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be like a skit, right? It's a shtick, as we like to say, shtick.
It was a
Shtick.
shtick. I
But then-
don't know. I thought it was creative, and if I was there, I would be on stage with them. I know.
Yeah,
that.
like making compliance fun, but like I think it
So
just went
fun.
too far.
Make
went
compliance great. Make compliance great again. So that way, I'm pulling in politics and
Oh, yeah.
HR, and I'm
You
putting
love
them
that
all.
politics. You love politics and HR. I know you do.
No, I just don't think it's the right time and place. I think that it puts you in a rough spot. Daniel, what do Gen Zers think about politics in the office?
Honestly, I think we got to get to it later. My full answer, but I will say
Tease it.
they're pro.
All right. Well, let's get to it, folks. This show, we'd be remiss. This show would not be possible without an incredible sponsor, Erin. And I think we have a special guest coming in to talk about Erin. And for you folks out there who do not know about Erin, Erin is the premier employee referral and internal mobility software platform, and increases employee referral hired for non-desk and corporate employees by 5x and decreases turnover by 50%.
Huge.
Imagine that, 50%. And they just were the recipient of the HR Tech Award for Best Innovative or Emerging Tech Solution from Lighthouse Advisors. Let's give it up. And you guys
Wow.
check out Erin.
Woo!
Take referrals to the next level.
Slay.
Speaking of taking it to the next level, where do we have a special guest today?
Yeah.
Do we
Come on.
have
We just might.
is Erin here?
In the room.
Where's Mike? Hey, Mike's in the house. Mike, what's happening, man?
Mikey.
Listen, yes, I am in the same room as Evan White, but let's just ignore that part and talk about why I'm here. It's because I bought my opportunity to speak, and that's it.
Well, I think, but I think we need.
I would have
let's be
referred
serious.
you onto the show anyway, so you would have got in.
So, Mike, what's happening? What are you guys doing in Virginia?
I appreciate that, Joel, but would you guys have worn the shirts?
Hell yeah! This is
No.
Yeah, we're all
I
wearing
only
wouldn't.
shirt I wear now.
Yeah,
Only on
were you-
Tuesdays.
After like 5 or 6 washes, it really breaks it.
Yeah.
You gotta give it.
I'm
of
gonna
my-
sleep in mine. I
There you
sleep in
go.
t-shirts. I don't wear t-shirts.
I'll tell you, we hand these out at trade shows, and there's so many ladies that are like, "Oh, this is great. My husband could cut grass in this." So we're just gonna start handing out a pair of New Balances with it. And we're good to go.
That'd be a fire collab.
There you go. You got to get the Mentalist, right, Evan White? We got to get the Mentalist from the last conference that we're not
Yeah.
going to name out there. But
Well,
Mike, I mean, listen.
Well,
Break the news.
Adam, you should know that at Sherm Talent in 2025, the Mentalist will be at the Aaron booth. So
Yes.
it's already a lock.
Yes, we're gonna do. But Mike, I listen. You and I have had an opportunity to spend some time together. We hung out in Vegas. I got to know you a little bit, and what I thought was pretty cool is I could feel the passion for what you built in your voice, and it wasn't just the 3 bourbons deep at the Wind Bar talking about it.
The
But
bourbon
you got
helps the passion.
bourbon helps, but bourbon helps the passion. So like, what was the impetus behind creating Aaron, man? Like, tell everyone out there what's the OG origin story here.
Yeah, and you know what? It's not as exciting as you might think.
I'm trying to make it exciting, man.
Well, but the cool thing is that we were just trying to solve a problem, right? So we saw a problem. We started working with people. We had no idea what we were doing. But the cool thing about where we are now is that we have taken that single solution and set deep on it. That we have a solution that doesn't exist in any other platform. We're the only ones that are thinking about the things that we're thinking about, and that's because we're working with such large customers that never thought this could be solved. So that when you take when you pick your beachhead and you just go as hard as you can on it, I mean, referrals on the surface seems like a very simple thing. How could we possibly be 6 years into software development with a team of 10 and still developing things? It's crazy.
Word.
That's awesome. But let me ask you a question: is your software designed to put recruiters like me out of business?
So when you ask the impetus, like that actually was the original idea. We're like, why are we
Yeah,
paying
dude, you
so
can't
much
come onto the
money?
Realist Recruiter show and say you're gonna put us out of
You
out
got
of
2
business.
recruiters here.
It's okay. I'll
Well,
still be your friend.
Does everybody remember Hired.com? I think they just got like sold for the second time. But the original idea was a play like Hired.com where we would have anyone refer, and the recruiters were no longer needed. We could just pay people directly. The reality is that anyone referring, so what if you are familiar with Hired.com, you can follow that journey now and realize that does not work, right? So I'll say that we're not here to replace recruiters. Recruiters have a very specific
Thank you.
job. We
We
use them
ghost
internally.
people. That's what we do.
Yeah. Well, so the recruiters do
Yeah.
something similar to. They can steal people. They can steal good employees from other companies.
That's what I do.
All this really is. You don't want the person you don't want the person that is looking for work. You want the person that's crushing it at their job, and somebody can pull them away. Referrals get you in the door. Recruiters get you in the door. That's where job postings don't get you in, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that said, what we've developed has been. I'm super thankful for our journey, but we're in such a cool spot where we're working with the largest companies in the world, automating everything from submitting a referral to automating the payments that go out.
Love
When
it.
you do that for 100,000 people for one company in 100 different countries, like that can be a pretty complicated problem to solve. Something that
Wow.
they had dozens of people supporting before, and now we have a platform that streamlines all of that.
That is absolutely incredible. And guess what, folks out there? If you want some Aaron swag, We have it. We're going to drop a link in our chat, or you could go to purpleacorn.io/free. You could send us your info and get a
Get that
sloth of
sloth,
your own.
baby.
All right, so
Come
Mike, what's the deal with the sloth? Where did the sloth come from as your mascot?
Yeah, it's getting weird at this point, so I apologize for that. But no, so it was the first Sherm we ever went to. We were talking about what swag should we take. We didn't have any money, so it's nobody wants our garbage, and the people down the hall, they have better garbage. Like they have the power bank, they have the nice things. So after we talked, what we realized is, or what we
They
decided
have
on
soft
was that
T-shirts.
yeah, really grainy soft. Everybody wants something for their kids.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go to a conference, you want to take something home, and you're like, "Look, I got something for you. I was thinking about you." But the reality is you're like, "Oh shit, I should grab something for my kid before I leave."
It's so true.
Are we allowed to swear on this?
I think so.
Heck yeah.
Okay.
F yeah.
Evans in his sparkly suit losing it ever. So we had these sloths with the one that Joel was holding, and it was an absolute hit. And now, so here's the other thing: if you've ever been to Sherm, I mean, there are people that really line up for their swag. So like we had like a line around the booth, and we ran out of them all on the first day.
That's
So
cool.
we're like hiding them,
Oh yeah, you're one of those like, hey, can I get a sloth? And you're like, nah.
Oh,
You gotta give us
only
your
only
contact.
top prospects
I
get a
need
sloth.
We gotta scan your badge first.
Sloth
your
black
name,
market.
your company, the street you grew up on, and the last four of your social. And, you can get a
And
slot
what's your
there.
budget for new tools?
Yeah.
That's what we want.
What's your approved budget for referral software by the end of the year?
And are you a decision maker within your organization approved to write checks up to and including $1 million?
Call your CFO right now and I'll give you a slot.
Well, Mike, I mean, this is a pretty cool. Was it like? Is there like that feel? Give us like one quick feel good story about a company using the product.
Oh, I mean, it's they're endless, and I'll tell you, it doesn't.
Well, just one. We don't need endless. We it's been endless all morning.
Yeah. Referrals, again, on the surface does not sound like this like crazy complicated fun problem to solve, but the reality is that I tell the team like, these like build up stories, again, kind of bourbon infused sometimes, but the reality is like we're getting people jobs that they wouldn't have gotten before because the employees were not participating in the program. We get them involved, they make a referral, they get that job, and like that entire person's life has changed because of software that we've built. So that's fantastic. But the feel good story I will give you, we have a healthcare customer, about 60,000 employees. There's an office admin that two of them actually said, guess the salary. They have made more in
Wow.
bonus payments than their annual salary
Wow.
2 years in a row. Just bringing in businesses and pounding it out. So they doubled their take home just by hanging out on the app.
Sounds like an influencer.
I love it. And Mike, where could folks find out more? Where could they connect with Aaron down there?
AaronApp.com.
That's awesome.
And one thing we're proud of. Took us 6 years, but we have displaced all other human Aarons. So if you just Google Aaron, there's Wikipedia, and then there's us.
No more Aaron.
So
Wow.
Aaron Andrews.
Good. They canceled
SEO
Aaron. So Mike, listen, you and Evan enjoy your time in Virginia. Definitely come check out the happy hour tomorrow.
Oh yeah, there he is
at the NAHCR. Their happy hour. Where is it going to be? At the Grain Rooftop Bar, 7:30 to 9:30. You're in the greater Norfolk, Virginia. Greater Norfolk, Virginia area, and you want to crash a happy hour, you check it out. Mike, I want to thank you so much for sponsoring the show. Evan, thank you for bringing some sparkle into our life here, and let's keep the show rolling.
Show, everybody.
Let's do it. All right, let's get to it, folks. Let's get to it, folks. Let's talk about what's happening out there. And listen, I was just at Sherm. I thought overall.
Wait, where?
I was at Sherm, and listen, I didn't attend. I was with my sponsor Fountain all day. I was doing my podcast there, and I didn't know what was happening. But apparently there was a lot happening, and there was a lot more happening when we got back. So apparently, not apparently, it happened. Sherm decided to drop the E, which is equity, from their DE and I, which is a real D move. But let's get to the real question here. I don't know if people know this. No. Did he get the inside intel? Did his
Dude.
PR team said, Ted
They knew.
Lasso, no, don't do it. Say no to Sherm.
Oh
Listen,
my God.
Sudeikis. Listen, Sudeikis. Listen. Ted Lasso has a chance to make the best offer of all time. Put your E back, and you get ME back for Sherm next year, and let's do this. Let's get Jason Sudeikis back. Wait a minute.
Did he know?
Did he know? Danielle, do you think he?
I think he knew.
he doesn't know.
I think his PR team is too good because he's such a good guy, like in the media. Like he has a great image. There's no way he didn't know.
They definitely did their digging and due diligence, and they're like, wait a minute, we just uncovered some shiat, and we don't need Ted Lasso stepping in some shiat and ruining his image.
Word.
But good thing you've got lots of content from Sherm.
Yeah, I did. We're gonna, but we're not focusing on the Sherm content itself. We're focusing on all the amazing guests that we had on the podcast, and thanks to our amazing sponsor, Fountain. So that's all great content, and we're talking about amazing things that are happening in the HR and TU world. But Joel, what news is on your radar?
Man, look, if you guys didn't hear, this is incredibly important, but Lattice announced that they were going to add in their software. They're going to make it possible for AI, your AI employees to have a place. And look, before you get all crazy here, this is incredibly important, okay? Inflation is high. People are struggling. People are burned out and disengaged. And it's even more important that we focus on our AI workers right now. Because if our robots are not happy, if they are not in a place of comfort, I don't know what we have left, people. So I think this was an incredible move, which just got ripped to pieces. And I didn't even know this was a thing. Like, I saw the announcement that the CEO of Lattice made, and I also read through the comments, which have now been turned off. And it's just clear that this was just a weird move to have such a focus on AI employees. So I don't know. Have you guys had this issue, like AI employees suffering? Have you run into that in your prior work situations?
Every day. Just feel really bad for the AI employees. I think my problem is like, why are we equating?
Heart feels sad.
Why are we equating AI and like humans? I think that's everyone's problem with it. Like, I think that's part of it, but also the timing. I think Lori mentioned in her article about it was right after July 4th. Everyone's inboxes were slammed.
Yeah.
Right around the time of the Sherm thing, like there was a lot going on. Like people don't want to hear this stuffs.
It's a lot.
Well,
it's timing.
well, look, some of the comments on here. The first one: robot workers of the world unite.
We're forming a union.
And
A
then it
union.
just gets worse and worse. And apparently, this ended up on LinkedIn Lunatics. And like LinkedIn Lunatics is not a place you want to be ever. But to make it, I mean, that's
Joel,
pretty
how many times have you been on LinkedIn Lunatics?
I'm on there a decent amount. I'm also on Recruiting Hell a lot on Reddit.
Yeah.
So if you ever, you just search Joel Lalgee in there and you'll find it.
Joel keeps his cringe factor about a 9, but it's actually a brilliant move, everybody, because it keeps him in the news feed. It's a very
Memeing it up.
But Danielle, let me ask you a question. Like, why are we trying to humanize the bot so much here?
We're trying to merge.
Ugh.
I read about this thing that there's this guy that, I don't know, he predicts the future or something, and he said that by 2030 we're going to merge with or 2040 we're going to merge with AI. So I don't know, maybe they're onto something. Maybe there's a deeper conversation here, but it's not one that we're going to have this morning because we got to move on to the next story, guys.
Do you get in trouble if you harass an AI coworker?
Yeah.
No, right. What if I talk shit to that robot? Right.
Dude.
Sorry. Right. Like
Those chatbots, they get it tougher, right?
Was that SOP video for the AI coworkers?
Yeah. Don't
Or
touch
was
this.
it for us?
Don't touch that AI. Okay.
So this is kind of a funny one, Danielle. Like, let's talk about this. Like,
Yeah,
the
let's
Gen Z
talk
worker
about
is always late. What's going on here?
All right. So basically, there's a new survey that said that almost half of Gen Z said that being 5 to 10 minutes late is the same as being on time.
Ooh.
So,
Okay.
begs the question, what does it mean to be on time? What is time? And I have like a lot of questions too. Like the same survey found that 70% of baby boomers believe that being right on time is actually late. So you have half of Gen Z saying 5 to 10 minutes is late or on time. And then you have boomers saying that 70% of them saying that being on time is late. Like, I don't understand. What is time anyway?
Are we canceling time, Danielle?
Time is money.
Honestly, I think we should cancel time.
Then what do we have
But
left? Bots.
yeah, that's a good question. I'm kind of stumped on it. But I had this entrepreneurship professor when I was in college who would literally play a video at the start of class. And if you arrived after the song was over, he made you sing in front of the class.
Oh man, what song was it?
It was a different song every day. So it ranged from like rap to jazz to like
And
ballad.
did that deter people from being late?
100%. I mean, I still might have sung once or twice, but
So public embarrassment is this. So if you want your Gen Z to be on time, you got to publicly humiliate
publicly
Shame.
humiliate them.
shame
Yep.
them. Do
Force
like a
them to sing
TikTok.
in front of everyone.
Well, I mean, if we want to keep it real for a minute here, I mean, I think it comes down to respecting other people's time. That's in my
Ooh.
opinion, right? Like, especially as a recruiter, like if you're late for a call,
Yeah.
I give people, and I want to hear Joel's take on it too. As a recruiter, I give people about 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
If it's a video call, usually I'm calling somebody. If they don't pick up right away, sometimes it's going to go to a voicemail. If you don't call me back within 5 minutes, like it's about respecting people's time. Danielle, have we lost as a society? Have we lost respect for other people's time?
Well, you know what? I have a few points here.
Go for it.
One, I read an article the other day that was talking about how in the age of hybrid work, which is so futuristic,
Hybrid.
punctuality is a lot more relaxed, right? Because people are showing up to work at different
Sure.
times because they feel like, they're more productive at certain hours and different locations, whatever. So if other people are lax about it, obviously Gen Z is going to follow because we're not trying to work too hard because we don't get paid enough.
Wah, wah.
But I also don't think most meetings, like, A, need to be meetings, and B, start on time anyways, especially if Adam is in charge of setting up the tech needed for that meeting. So,
Oh, it's true.
What?
Look, I think with this one, look, I think I remember like when I graduated school in 2011, my
Jeez.
college guide or whoever it is was like, you got to show up to job interviews like 15 minutes early, right? Like you got to show up early, and if you show up any later than that, then you're actually late, even if you're early. Which I was like, man, that doesn't really make any sense. So some of this is just kind of common sense, and like I agree with it a lot. I just think in general, it kind of comes down to that same issue around flexibility, letting people kind of operate the way they want to and still get results. For me, if the results are there, I do not care about any of this. I don't care if you're working from 5 states over. I don't care if you're late every day. If you're getting the results, that's all that should matter.
Mm.
And hopefully this is something which kind of stays within the work culture, and I'm all for it.
yeah.
All for
I mean,
it.
I did put out a poll, which is the last thing I'll say about this, and about 145 people responded. What is the definition of on time? Was my
Oh,
question.
okay.
30% of people said early. 63% majority said within 5 minutes of the set time is on time. And 4% said 45 minutes late is still on time.
Jeez.
And then
Look, those
3% were other.
those people aren't getting a job with my companies. I'll tell you that much.
Well, Adam, I think to your point, like it is like respecting other people's time. If it's a Zoom meeting, I give people 5 minutes. They're a no
Yeah.
show. They get the delete from me. That's because I don't really want to mess around with it. But I could see, to Danielle's point, like you got to make those meetings matter. And I think companies, you got to give people a why nowadays. Like it's even
Mhm.
like with coming back to the office. You can't just
Agree.
be like, "Hey, come back to the office." It's like, well, what
What?
is going to be different about the office than working at home? And if you carry on creating environments that are literally just work from home offices in an office, as soon as the Great Resignation 2.0 rolls around, which it's going to happen
He's
at
talking
some
about the
point,
Great Resignation. All right.
then it's going to go.
Word.
Well, awesome. Well, let's keep the show trucking on over here. And anybody who wants to engage, we'll keep the conversation going in the comments. But what are we talking about next here? Let's
Yeah,
get
so there's basically this guy that has been job searching for a while, and he made a video about it. And yeah, let's roll the tapes. Wow, 1,500.
For today, I want to film more of a raw and real video. I'm not going to 1,300 jobs, and the application to interview rate was 0.45%. If you see my eyes moving, I'm looking at the computer screen.
We should get AI for that.
For networking referrals, back in the day, before this crazy job market in tech, I would always get an interview if I got referred. This dropped down to 20%. So if I got a referral, basically 20% of the time, I'll actually get an interview. So that was interesting. If a recruiter reaches out to me, there's an 80% chance that I'm actually going to get an interview. This is not surprising because oftentimes when a recruiter reaches out, they want to set up a call. So that's not really surprising. And there's a 40% chance that when a outside recruiter, so basically a recruiter that's just basically sourcing candidates for different companies,
easy.
When they actually reach out to me, there's a 40% chance I actually might get an interview. So this is basically a third-party recruiter.
So many stats.
Obviously, based on these stats, it's very clear that the most superior and effective application strategy for me should be focused on networking and referrals. This is pretty obvious.
All right.
And then,
However, I do want to focus on more of the horror stories. I have never been in
This
such a
recruiter called
bad
Adam
job
Posner
market
goes
in my
to me.
life.
Maybe let's pause this.
Admittedly, I'm only 35.
Let's
all right,
unpack it.
Danielle.
Guys.
Danielle, take us through this here. Break it down.
Well, you guys are the recruiters. Honestly, this is. But
I'm a
so,
recruiter.
Yeah, you guys are probably. Except Joel's not.
I don't know what the hell he does all day.
No,
Honestly.
but
He's on TikTok all day long. It's literally. I don't know how he actually
He's
recruits.
just an influencer at this point.
He is.
Yeah, I think it definitely aligns with like what I'm hearing, especially from my friends who are job searching, also from like internet stories and stuff that I'm reading.
Yeah.
And the referral thing, it sucks. Like, I mean, we were saying before, most recruiters are reaching out to people who are already employed. So in an economy where so many people are job searching, it's like, that I think he's right. Like to focus on his networking, focus on, reaching out potentially to recruiters themselves. Like, I'm curious what you guys think about people reaching out to recruiters directly and being like, "Hey, what's up? I'm on the job hunt."
So here's the deal. Here's the deal, folks, and it's pretty black and white at this point. There are a lot of really good folks that are out of work, and it is a totally employee-driven market right now. And the market is flooded, the pipelines are flooded, and there's a lot of good people out of work. And that's where the clients, really should be starting. Start with those good people. A lot of people have good jobs. Go for those people. But that's not what's happening, right? They what Mike said before is we want people who are happy in their jobs. I think we need to shift that mindset within organizations and really push towards finding good folks that are out of work. Joel, would you agree with this?
Yeah, look, when it comes to the corporate roles, right? This is what we're talking about, corporate roles.
Right.
Like this guy's in tech. There's a lot of good people on the market. So I agree with everything he said. I think you got to apply to a lot of jobs. You got to network. You got to build those relationships. In terms of reaching out to recruiters, it's a waste of time. Like, because recruiters are reactive. They are literally reacting to what the business needs.
Correct.
Especially in-house recruiters. They're going, we got to fill a job. Now we're going to work on it. Instead, you want to try and focus on figuring out who the hiring manager is or who people on the team are and making connections with them.
Add value to them.
Adding value to them. You still should be applying the jobs, but like this number, which he said, I think he said for every 100 applications, you get 5 interviews. I'm seeing about a 3 to 5% response rate.
Mm-hmm.
This is working with hundreds of job seekers.
And the reason is the pipelines are flooded right now. The pipelines are flooded. The resources are tight on the internal side. There's only so many hours in a day. There's only so many applications that these recruiters could review. They have so many recs on their plate right now that it's really, really hard. So you need to find alternative. Yes, still apply. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have to apply for the job anyway to be in their system. But network, back channel.
I think this is a great time for people, honestly, to start. If you've been thinking about starting a side hustle, you've been thinking of starting something, fractional, whatever you want to call it, now is honestly a great time because you probably have time because you're job seeking. Don't waste all the time just applying to jobs and getting rejected. Spend some of that time and see if you can create some income as well. Because to be honest with you, even if you do get a job, there is zero stability. I've done so much content on this recently. I don't care if you worked at a job for 5, 10, 15, 30 years, you get cut off.
There's no more loyalty anymore. There's no more
corporate loyalty is dead.
Corporate loyalty is dead. Danielle, any final thoughts before we check in on the weather?
Oof, it's tough out there, man. good luck for everyone.
Brutal.
So,
Brutal.
speaking of tough and speaking of hot under the collar, let's check in with the weather.
Yeah.
Wow, guys, that's a little bit depressing. I'm depressed right now, but fantastic start to the show, and I'm really excited about being the weatherman. Look, Mom, I've made it. I'm the weather guy. Dream come true. But let's jump into it because I'm seeing a merger getting a really chilly reaction. For those of you that don't know, 2 weeks ago, Monster and Career Builder joined force. I'm like, for a lot of people, I'm like, who? What? But the thing is, if this was 2008, this would be like headline news. Unfortunately for them, it's 2024. No one really cares at all. But we have boomers and Gen X listening, watching this, and I'm sure they remember this is where they went to look for jobs. Basically, those two sites were the bomb. It's where you went to look for a job, and they were a big deal because if you think about it, during that era of 2000 to 2012, they were not only the job boards you went to, they were like the tech darlings of the early .com era. Crazy to think that, like, Monster was an company, and they also had Super Bowl. What happened? Well, the weather changed. LinkedIn came on scene and basically as a job board disguise as a social media site, then Indeed was the Google for jobs before Google for jobs. So what's next? Couple of things. So what I think we'll see is probably there's a couple of options. So what we could see is Monster Builder or Career Monster? Probably not. They might run the sites separately, or here is my prediction of the weather here. I think they're going to merge the sites and leverage the name jobs.com, which, by the way, Monster owns. I do see that. But either way we look at it, I think we all think that job boards are dead. The reality is job seekers still go to job boards and still see it as their number one source to look for jobs and apply for jobs. So until that changes, job boards are going to be around for a long time. But the other take is we might see mergers like this coming up in the near future. It won't take 20 years to see something like a merger from, say, Indeed and LinkedIn merging together. I don't know what you guys think about it, but before we go back, yeah, Indeed and LinkedIn, I don't know what we would call it. So, Lindeed, I like it. Triple Indeed. I like that. Career Monster, Monster Builder. There's a lot of different names that could be named, but I don't know if any of you remember the Super Bowl commercial. Let's jump into it. I really want to see this. I don't remember it.
When I grow up, I want to file all day.
I want to claw my way up to middle management. Be replaced on a whim.
I want to have a brown nose.
I want to be a yes man.
Yes, woman. Yes, sir. Coming, sir.
Anything for a raise, sir.
When I grow up,
I want to be underappreciated.
be paid less for doing the same job. I want sunshine blowing up my dress.
That's
Wow.
a pretty cool commercial.
That's a great commercial, except it happened. And so
Yeah.
those kids all now have what they wanted. They're underappreciated and laid off.
Underappreciated. That was a good one.
So does anyone care about this merger?
Look,
No.
I will say this. If you combine both of their user bases, it's about 45 million. All right. So I've looked it up, 20 million for
Wow.
Career Builder, 25 million for Monster. Dude, LinkedIn has 310 million active users. Indeed's got 250. So it's like combining two nothings to create nothing. And I want to know who those monthly users are.
Right. I mean, it's a different type of job, though, right? Like we also we are so native to LinkedIn too that we forget that there's a whole other population out there that use many different job boards, right?
Yeah.
Whenever I see those ZipRecruiter commercials or the Indeed commercials, I kind of blow them off because that's not the world I recruit for. But there's a lot of people in a lot of different jobs, a lot of different industries that use other platforms. Joel,
Look,
Yeah.
I will say I have not.
you're a LinkedIn snob. That's your
I
problem.
have not seen. I mean, I've used Career Builder before. I used it about 5 years ago, and I did not see any updated resumes. And the strategy was find a resume that was 10 years old, call that person, and if the contact information was up to date, say, "Hey, I've got your resume. I found it on Career Builder," but there was zero updated. So, Danielle, what do you have?
Well, to Adam's point, like my parents own we have a family business. It's indoor electric go-karting, which by the way,
What?
you
Sick.
gotta go.
What? Wait,
Oh,
wait,
Yeah.
that's
wait,
pretty
wait.
cool.
Why, we haven't gotten the discount yet to take the kids up there?
Well, Adam, you didn't ask me.
I mean, that's the thing. Hey, Danielle, by the way, I'm just curious. By chance, your parents have an indoor electric go-kart on the East Coast where I can take my kids to?
Yeah, it's called RPM Raceway.
Raceway Park.
It's really fun. The average age is actually 34, and you have to be 48 inches to ride a cart. Anyway,
Joel's
I've
guns are 48
done
inches. Joel's arms could ride by themselves.
Perfect.
Swole Lalgee.
true. Yeah, so I did some recruiting work for them back in the day, and they were using Monster. So, a lot of those like hourly jobs, like part-time positions, like a lot of those are really posted on Monster and other sites like it. So I really appreciate Adam's point of that.
Absolutely.
I will say that Super Bowl commercial was really creepy and it felt like the result of decades of corporate BS.
Where does it land on the cringe scale, Danielle?
Like, I don't want to see it.
It's off the cringe scale.
It's off. Everything we're showing today is just off the cringe scale.
Serge, what's the long-term forecast for the rest of the summer, man?
The long-term forecast. Well, I want to ask you, what's the forecast for job boards? I think job boards are going to be around for a long time, but I want to get your thoughts around it. Are job boards going out, or are they
No.
here forever?
No, they're here. I started my own job board, pulling in some affiliate jobs using Draftboard, which is another pretty cool platform out there.
Yep.
And my audience loves it because I'm continuing to provide value as a recruiter, where I have my jobs that I'm working on, but I get so much inbound. Joel could attest this. Hey, Adam, I'm doing this. Could you help me there? Now I have a destination where I could send people to where I curate jobs and they could apply directly and they could go for it. So as a recruiter, I'm trying to find ways to add value, be a super connector, be a conduit, and always trying to, say, hey guys, I may not have something for you, but check these out.
Well, do you think job boards are going to become just more niche and more
I
targeted?
Definitely.
I think they got to add value in other ways, and this is something which I don't think it could just be, hey, here's a job. I think you gotta hook people in nowadays with content that's going to provide value. Hey, here's some interview tips. Here's
Mhm.
some AI tools.
Mm.
Because I think now job seekers they're expecting value. They're expecting quicker service. So regardless of whether you're using a job board or not, companies have got to be on this. Like candidate experience right now, it needs to be high, and I think a lot of companies are going. It's a lot of people applying. We don't need to work as hard as moving people through the process quickly. But I think that's going to be a huge focus. And so if using a job board is the way to go, great. But I think if you're a job board, you got to think of other ways besides just jobs to add value and make it easier for job seekers.
Agreed. And I would also add that community has seen a huge uptick in terms of just being a conduit for people getting jobs, right? Like communities are delivering on some of the things that Joel mentioned. And I think that, when you have, how many Slack communities are you in? Like, drop it in
Too
the
many.
chat. How many Slack
many.
communities are you in, right? Like, a lot. And sometimes, if people are job searching, you're just like going in those Slack communities and just looking under hashtag jobs and you're just applying and then you're reaching out to people and it's not always going to be on a job board. They're going to just post, a lot of the time right from the website. So I think to that end, some of those websites are going to become a little bit, I don't know, less used.
Well, what's the forecast for Indeed, which I would say is the biggest job board out there right now? Are we feeling that it's got a long runway, or is it going to have a similar fate that Monster and Career Builder had?
All I could speak from is some of the videos I've done recently where I bash Indeed. So for example, a hook I might use is, are you tired of using Indeed and LinkedIn? I'll band them both together. a lot of frustration out there for people. Like those videos always go viral because people are sick of fake jobs, scams, like applying and never hearing back. And I think that's a massive issue for a job board like Indeed. It's like if you're gonna have jobs, make sure they're quality jobs that
Yeah.
actually lead to somebody getting a job.
Yeah. It erodes trust too.
Yeah. Well, awesome, Serge. We want to thank you so much for this weather. This is going to be an update because the weather's always here, but it changes. Serge, thank you so much.
The recruitment flex.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Danielle, back over to you.
Alrighty. Well, we love it. Yeah, that's it. That's my sound effect. We're gonna have to come up with some sort of little song for that.
Yeah, we'll work on
So, Adam and Joel, I am proud to say that I'm going to be slowly but surely introducing you to the world of Gen Z terminology.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait.
And we're going to start off with our first word of the day, which is mother. Anyone want to take a crack at what it means?
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah,
That job board was a real mother to get a job on.
Right. So are we using
Okay.
mother in a derogatory term, or are we
Dude.
using it as an
I
endearing?
can't give you a hint. I'm just
Stop
asking
snooping.
you what you think.
I'm gonna go with Joel with this one, knowing the Gen Z. I mean, listen, I have a 12-year-old daughter, and she's definitely far ahead than you, Danielle. So I get a little bit of alpha on that. But I'm gonna go.
No cap.
I'm gonna go with Joel on that one, and think it's a derogatory term along the lines of the derogatory.
Well, you're both wrong. So,
What?
congratulations.
What a mother. It sounds right, though, doesn't it?
No. The definition is it's frequently used to describe someone feminine who's
Okay.
powerful, confident, and a mentor in the best way. Originally derived from using like the queer community. So like a drag queen, like she is mother, right? Or they are mother.
Right.
The term is now used a little bit more broadly outside of that community. Basically, everyone can be a mother except for Katy Perry after releasing her new single, which totally flopped. But think about like Beyonce, like, you know, her new album.
Madonna kind of coined it too. I was at the Madonna show in
Madonna's first
January,
word,
and they were
mother.
referring to her as mother in the show.
Yeah, and it
And
could totally
how
be
did
a
you not
verb
get
too.
this then?
Well, I didn't want to jump ahead. I'm trying to give a little bit of like play here, Joel.
Dude, whatever.
No, yeah, like Madonna is totally mother, but like she could also be mothering, right? Like it's a verb too.
What's your favorite Gen Z word right now aside from mother?
Mine.
Yeah.
I think I'm saying slay like all the time. It's it's a slay.
I am hearing a lot of cringe from the Sage bracket too. That's so cringe. Super
Yeah, but
cringe.
that's because you are
Cringe.
cringe.
I am totally cringe. I am my dad. It's great how that happens, right? You just turn into what you. Oh man.
Who is mother? Who is mother to you, both of you?
Yeah, Joel's mother to me.
We're all mother.
Adam's my mother.
Yeah, let's do this, guys. Let's throw it over to our next sponsor. Let's get to it. It's time for our first discussion topic of the day. I'm going to throw it to my man Joel, and he's going to talk about Joel's poll.
Joel's poll. All right. I'm glad we reached this part of the conversation. I like to ask some real hard questions with my polls on LinkedIn. We all know that. And really, the question I wanted to ask my network was how appropriate politics are within the workplace. So I figured I would just ask the simple question. Should we be talking about politics at work? Through the poll on LinkedIn. And before we look at what my network thinks, I want to throw it to you two. Danielle, what do you think? Politics, yay or nay?
You know, personally, I don't like talking about politics at work, but I think that more of Gen Z likes to talk about politics at work than other generations. The gap is not as big as we think it is because we're all the time, we're always talked about negatively and singled out. And so the media wants us to think that it's a bigger gap than it is. It's actually like, I looked into it, 47% of other generations don't want this conversation to come up, and Gen Z only said that 41% of the time. Not a big gap.
Okay. Okay. Adam, what do you think?
Well, it's interesting.
Yay or nay?
I'm kind of split on this one a little bit too, because I think that there's a place in the workplace for conversation and discord, but unfortunately, in today's world, it's so polarizing. Right? It's either or, and
Polarizing.
I think that so many folks are equating who you support as a direct relation of who you are.
Yeah.
And they're judging hard on that too. And I've had conversations with friends like, so you dislike me purely based, so you're literally canceling me based on a candidate that I like on one side or the other, instead of just being in the middle, like understanding that the candidate's not always the policy. It's not always, everything that they represent. And it's really causing a divide. So I try to take the high road and I say no politics in the office.
What do you guys think? So we had 2,800 people voted. What do you think the results were? Like, how big do you think the gap was between yes and no? And which way did it lean?
Definitely no.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no.
Heavy no.
Heavy no. Yeah, 89% of people said no, and 11% said yes. That's 2,800 people.
Whoa.
And this whole thing came about.
Statistically viable.
Well, look, some of the comments on here. Some guy called Clark Wilcox said, if you haven't discussed politics at work yet, today is a great day to start. He was talking about yesterday. I strongly believe politics should be one of those zero tolerances. It should not be discussed or supported in the workplace. This conversation actually came around because I was talking to a bunch of HR leaders, and they have felt that they need to open up more of a space in their workplaces to talk about politics with the election coming up, because otherwise they feel like if you don't talk about it, conversations start and it gets too polarizing at work. So they want to kind of take control of the conversation.
Right. Like, let's not pretend like it's not happening. But I also think that Gen Z more specifically, and I'm sure other generations, but definitely when we're talking about this younger generation, like, they need more guidance about how and when to bring sort of this advocacy angle and their passion to the workplace, right? Because there is a time and place for this stuff to happen. I think it's important that it does some of the time, because naturally, right? Like, if we're talking about equity, we're also probably going to talk about politics at some point. The two are very interrelated. So
that's a fair point.
You can't just like ignore politics, but I think it's very much about how you meet people where they are. How do you take on these professional responsibilities? How do you respect boundaries of other people? These are things that we need to be teaching. I mean, candidly, everyone, but especially this younger generation, because they're so opinionated.
They usually do it in the first 10 minutes of every meeting. So,
well,
right.
I appreciate it, and I think that this conversation is making me a little bit hungry. We've been out here for a little bit, and it's almost I'm feeling it. And I get I don't know about you guys, I get a little hangry, and I need a snack. I need an HR snack.
Hey, I thought you guys could use some snacks. You're working really hard. You're burning a lot of calories with your hot takes. So I sent everyone some snacks for this show. Did you all get them?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
I can't really
There
eat
they
this
are.
snack. Thanks, Joel, but maybe next
It's
time.
okay. You can
What a
ship
mother.
that back to me, please. I'll send you my address after. No, just kidding. So, all right, yeah, it's for if you can't tell, it was the peanut butter filled pretzel nuggets. These, I don't know about y'all's experience, but these were absolute fixtures in the offices that I've worked in throughout my career. And it's usually like, the 5-pound tub that you get at like, Sam's or Costco that's sitting in the break room or sitting in the kitchen. And I'm a huge snacker. I'm a grazer by nature. If there's food out, if there's a spread out, I will literally throughout the day go multiple times, fill up a little plate or a bowl, take it back to my desk. And in my experience, I would meet other coworkers, other snackers, while we're, sticking our hands in the tub and kind of filling up these snacks. And it was a great way just to chat and to catch up and to connect with people. And you don't really get that with remote work. That's actually something that I miss. I've been remote for 4 years now. I'm assuming all of you are remote since I see your backgrounds look like your homes or, podcast studios. Adam's working from his pool, so I'm going to assume he's remote as well. No, but so the topic that I want to get into, and that I think is relevant to bring up, is remote work is great. There's so many positive benefits, and I love it. But is the dark side of remote work that it's making everyone more lonely? So let me just read a couple stats, and then we could dive into discussions. I'd love to hear everyone's experience and takes on this as well. All right, so the number of U.S. adults who call themselves lonely has climbed up to 58%, right? And that's up from 46% in 2018. 69% of employees report they are unsatisfied with social connections at work, which is a BetterUp survey. And more than 40% of fully remote workers said they go days without leaving the house. That one's a little shocking to me. And, even the Surgeon General spoke about this, a couple of years ago. He said that Americans are experiencing a loneliness epidemic, not all tied to remote work, I will say, because this has been bubbling up for decades now. But, what's everyone's take here? Is remote work making people more lonely or contributing or accelerating this feeling of loneliness? Danielle, you
very
got some
hot
stuff
take.
to say.
Very much so. I think this question of, is remote work making us lonely? It's like saying, is food making me fat? Which in Adam's case, yes, it is.
What?
Blasted.
But you know what? Food isn't the
shots
enemy,
fired.
right, Adam? Food's not the enemy. We have healthy eating habits.
No,
here.
it's TikTok's the enemy. TikTok's the enemy.
No, it's actually it's a matter of the type of food we're eating, how and what time of day we're eating at. How are we eating it? Slow?
Yeah.
Are we chewing? Are we like inhaling our food? Are we eating with other people? Like it's just like food isn't the enemy, remote work isn't the enemy either. Everyone has a different way of working for them, a type of work environment that they thrive in, people that they thrive working with. And plus, most organizations, unless they're born remote, weren't built with remote first or remote friendly systems and practices. So it's totally an undertaking that requires transformation into it, right? And it also begs the question, by the way, Joel, how are we defining remote work?
I'm assuming you're talking to this Joel.
Yeah, that's right.
And so,
That's the question.
It's between
like, is
both.
it remote first? Is it remote? Is it hybrid? Is it like remote only? Like remote is so broad.
Yeah. The polls were referring to remote and hybrid work environments. And, some of the other statistics in these surveys were the amount of time spent in meetings. And even people who go into hybrid office situations, 25% of their time are spent in meetings, but only 8% of their time are actually in-person meetings. So even though you go into an office and you're maybe looking to have more face-to-face in-person connections, you're still jumping on Zoom calls because you still have some folks from remote, different locations.
Yeah,
and
it's the system. It's the systems of work.
Look,
what do you guys think?
I look at it like this. Every single person in America that has a home, what do they also have? They got a garage, right?
Computer.
Not everybody.
They got a garage, and I see people all the time. I see my neighbors doing this, where they'll like drive into their garage. They won't say hi to me, and they'll close the garage, and then they're in the house. And honestly, look around. Like, do you even know your neighbors? It's like, are you regularly in contact with people that you know? I hear about it too. Like, you go to the grocery store, you go to the gym, you see someone you know, and it's like, oh, I don't want to talk to them. So I don't even buy that it's remote work or in-office work. This is just a human thing.
Yeah, I agree.
It's our society, we're antisocial. We don't want to have those same interactions unless we know people. And so my question to people is, you go to an office, what do you think you're going to get in an office? Like some magic connection with people?
That's a fair point.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You're not social. You need to look at yourself and go, how many people am I calling? How many people am I texting? Because I work remotely, and I'm the most unlonely person because I talk to people. I'll go to the gym, and I make it a point to talk to people and converse. And I think that's a real issue. I know plenty of people who go to an office who are lonely and depressed.
So it's an individual issue, not a systemic issue, the fact they're all working remotely. That's what you're trying to say here.
100%, 100%. And then
Well-
what's even worse, I saw Zoom.
Oh.
Zoom just ordered everybody back to the office, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, what's up with that?
Well, how can Zoom do that?
Isn't that their technology?
Let me
Joel?
let me ask this: is this aligned with this kind of fundamental shift that's happening, anyways, between the relationship of workers in the workplace or employees and employers, where people were spending 40 to 80 hours a week in an office? That's where you made connections. That's where you made friends. And now that that's shifting, you're finding connections elsewhere, whether that be with your personal friends, professional communities, or whatnot.
And I think we hit the nail on the head, too. We just have to be mindful and not let technology take over the art of human interaction. And there's going to be people who are introverted, extroverted, and you just have to find your own ways to connect. Joel, I want to thank you so much for this. Give us a little teaser. What snack may be coming next week?
Ooh, I think I'm going to go something...
Peppermint patties?
Something sweet next week. You got savory this week, so yeah.
Dry,
something
roasted
chocolatey.
macadamia nuts.
Ooh, I like chocolate.
Me too.
All right, cool.
I think I'll some chocolate. Yeah.
Joel, HR Snacks, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We love the snacks. We love the deep dive conversation. But let's keep this moving. Let's get to it, Joel. What is going on with AI and assessment cheating? What is that noise? What is happening there? What is that?
AI and assessments cheating. Look,
I'm literally choking on a pretzel. I can't even talk.
Here's what I'll say. We mentioned it earlier, right? I'm one of these people who's an influencer, so I get lots of brands reaching out to me. I've had more brands in the last month reach out to me that have AI-assisted interview help, so you could literally take an interview and have AI giving you all of the answers. They ask me to represent them. I say I'm not going to do that because I don't believe in that fundamentally. But curious, Danielle, what are your thoughts on this? Like, is that helpful for maybe Gen Z's nervous, like during an interview? Is it helpful?
Did you guys see that stat about how Gen Z is bringing their parents to interviews?
I think it was a clickbait. I think it was a little bit off. But I mean, I don't know who would actually do that.
It was like 11% or something. It was like something small, and I doubt that's actually true.
I've never seen it.
But it does beg the question of, the whole anxiety thing. I think it's really real, and these tools, they exist. Like, let's not pretend that they don't exist.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things that ways that I think people can address this is sort of like, if a candidate wants to use AI, or if a company says like, oh, there's a possibility that you could use AI, like just like upfront, I guess, communicating to them like that you can or you can. And I think that kind of clears the air, and it sets the boundaries. And if you use AI, you know that you're cheating. And if you don't, then, good for you. But I think in the case of using AI, right, it's pretty easy to get through this, like the candidate process, if you just use AI and automate everything. So one of the things I thought was, if you ask them to document the prompts that they put into ChatGPT, if they're using that, because there's no better way to understand how someone thinks, right?
Ooh, I like that. I like that, Danielle. I mean, generally speaking, I it's not your answer, but when Danielle's saying, let's take a look at with prompts, now I can see your thinking, and I'm kind of okay with it because that's the direction we're moving in. And it depends on the type of job. If you're showing critical thinking, if you're showing that you could ask the machine the right questions to get the answers you want, then I could kind of see your critical thinking there too. But generally speaking, I think it's BS. I think it's cheating. I don't want to see any of that.
Look, I think if you're using a tool, like for example, I work with a tool that's an auto apply tool, and it uses AI to automatically apply people. But the real tool it's a time-saving tool. So instead of filling out a manual application, it's filled out by AI. So it's a time-saving tool, productivity tool. I don't see anything wrong with that. I think if you have AI, if you got AI in an interview giving you the right answers, that's a whole different step, right? So we're not talking about entering prompts in. We're talking about literally a tool that can just like help you in the interview.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Not cool.
Not cool.
Adam,
Not
what do you
cool.
think? Not cool.
Not cool. Not cool at all. Let's keep the show moving, folks. Let's kick it to our next sponsor.
Kick it.
Kick it.
Big time, baby. Carlos, hit it.
$20 gets you open bar and a free bottle of chocolate milk, son.
But if you two suits try to tell me how to run my line, I'm going to take this toothpick and I am going to shove it.
I really like her.
Harry, the start baton isn't working.
Are you sure?
Do you want to try the start baton?
That ain't quality. That's right. That
is good. Brand cancer.
Big time, baby. Carlos, hit it.
It's so good. We're watching it twice.
It's so good.
Actually,
I noticed. I saw somebody in there. There was some dude. He looked familiar. I think he helped me with a video once. Right? He's kind of funny.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I know who you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. Let's go. I hear something in my ear. I hear our show producer cursing me out. Let's move it forward. Let's kick it. Let's kick it. Let's kick it over. I think we have a caller.
Caller.
Who could it be now?
Hey! There he
It's
is.
James Ellis. James, what's happening, man?
I just hit buttons. What happened? How am I here? Who are you? Why are you guys here? Why are you guys always on my feed and always on my computer? What's
It's by
going on with
design.
that?
It's by design. I come from the Joel Lalgee School of
Not
Being in Your
intelligent.
Face.
Not intelligent design, certainly. But
what's
we're here.
happening?
But we're here.
James, what's happening, man?
Oh, just talking about employer brand stuff. That's what I usually do. And by usually, I mean always do. Like, cannot stop doing it. So I have problems. Doctors have been
pretty
alerted.
cool topic.
Yeah, I like to think so, but I am weird that way. So
Well, yeah. Let's get to it. James, something cool. What are you working on right now?
you know what? That's the problem. I have too many, like y'all, and I know y'all well. Got too many irons in the fire. I got videos. I got podcast project coming up. I've got a lot of writing, the newsletter, all that good stuff, and actual client work, which is nice. But I think the video we're about to see is me trying something a little new.
Let's kick it. Let's show.
go.
I know what a purple squirrel is, sure. And I've purified myself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka, so I know what purple rain is. So, what's a purple acorn? Huh? What exactly did my agent book me into?
Oh, there he is in
God, is
real
this
life.
Sesame Street? I think you got the wrong show.
Yeah, I respect Jim Henson's shoulder muscles now more.
Yeah, no, it's kind of crazy. No, not weird at all. And this is a side effect of what happens when people spend too much time working alone, right, Danielle?
Yeah.
In their dining room, yes.
This is remote work.
This
Oh,
is
shoot. What are you doing here? Sorry.
This is remote work at its finest, people. So this is my new character. This is Slothy the Sloth. Hi.
See,
I'm stuck in a glass case of emotion.
I want to point out that I am not the only one. Clearly, you all had these things at your disposal, just an arm's reach away.
Yeah, it's right there.
Where'd you get
That's
those eyes? I want a pair of those.
I don't even remember, but I got them in blue. So this is the boss.
You
Are
could
they
have like,
fun?
a
This
conversation.
is the employee. Yeah, oh yeah. Trust me, I've costume changes. Are you kidding? Come on, that's the production value that I kind of bring to the table here.
You are delivering. That's mother right
that
there.
and a $30 lamp from Amazon right back there, slowly changing colors.
Very
Beautiful.
Yeah, no, this is fantastic. So James, hot take. What's happening in the world right now? What's keeping you up at night?
You know what? I just look so many things about employer brand, but I think the thing is that we're talking about employer brand so often about this highfalutin big idea. You got to hire an agency for $200,000 or some insane amount of money. It takes 6 months to do anything. It's like it's absolutely trying to eat the whale. It's insane. And I think so many companies need to just focus on brass tacks and say, what am I going to be able to do right now for free that's going to move the needle, that's going to make some changes? So I brought 5 things that every single company can do right now for exactly zero money to enhance their employer brand.
Let's go.
Is one of them putting a QR code on banner advertisements all over New York City?
Yes, QR codes are technically free, I guess, if that's the way you want to. Yeah.
QR codes never went away. QR codes is my little soapbox, and QR codes were around for a long time. They haven't gone. They made a comeback, right?
I love QR codes. What's wrong with QR codes?
Nothing.
QR codes are the Indeed monster and career builder of the industry, and I'm just going to leave that right there.
Low end tech.
Yeah, sorry about that. No, here's 5 quick things, and like I said, it's for every company. It's every company can do this. It's absolutely easy. The first thing is, on your job postings, write a headline. Right, the first thing you see when you're looking at a job should not be requirements. Right, it should not be someone shouting at you about what you have to have. Give me a reason to be interested. Give me a reason to be engaged. Give me something that says, hey, let's frame the entire rest of what you're about to read into something compelling and interesting and explain what's going on. So just write a headline. Now, for those of you who say, but my ATS doesn't allow headlines. Yeah, actually it does. All you got to do is put little header characters around it in HTML and you have a headline. Now, the trick with a headline is don't use a headline to try and explain the job. I think HR loves to try and explain everything and all at once. You got to think like a marketer. Tease me, compel me, interest me, intrigue me, get me curious about what this job is and how it's different from every other job. And that's a headline that's going to really move the needle. It's going to attract the right kind of person.
It's attracting me right now, I'll tell you that much.
Well, Adam, you and I have a long history that way, so let's not get into that.
Why are you wearing a Hawaiian shirt? Is it not Friday?
No, it's not Friday. Come on. This is not casual day. Come
on. I love it, James. Where are you off to next? Where could folks find you in real life? Where are you going to be?
I'm going to be in RecFest in Nashville, and I'm going to be ERE Anaheim in, October, November?
Mid-November. I will be there bringing the podcast to you live, and got a little keynote I'm working on, too.
Fantastic.
Little teaser there. Well, James
Give me an example of one of these headlines.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, look, you got a project. Look, everybody needs a project manager, right? Every company hires project managers, and to so many people who aren't project managers are like the cog in the machine. You just pull one out, you put a new one in, and I don't know really how you kind of decide who a good project manager is and who a bad project manager is. So what if the headline was, we're looking for project managers who do more than check boxes, they move needles. I mean, right there, every project manager is going to say, ooh, I want something like that, or, oh, that's not the kind of project manager I want to be. That's not the value I bring to the table. Does it, sell the whole job? Does it list how many years experience you need to have? No, but it explains all the rest of the stuff you're about to read in a way that makes you go, okay, I have a better, clearer sense of what this job is.
Love it.
I love it. I love it. Good stuff. And I kind of got brought up this way also, where I turn a job description into a job ad. Right? Change the mindset of it, switch it up.
Exactly.
Everyone can read the job description, but how are you going to use words to compel? Right, Danielle? Yeah. Words to compel.
100%. You got to hook them.
So that was number 5. What's number 2?
Number 2, let's jump to you got to restory every single social post to connect to the brand. Like every time you post, hey, our CFO is going to be at a conference. Hey, we won this award. Hey, we did this thing. Too often, companies just we have a thing. It's Thursday. We have to post something to LinkedIn, so they just post something. If you can't connect it to the brand, you didn't say anything of value. You didn't really explain what this was. If you got an award, and let's be fair, I'm not the biggest fan of most awards. We don't have to get into that.
Paid for an award.
Thank you.
We don't get
Thank you very much. Exactly. But if you got one, I'm a big believer of just being completely opportunistic. Use what you have. It's easier than Joel's got some problems. Joel's got his basement has some radon issues. But wow. I know.
This is good. We needed
he's not even on, and you guys are making fun of him.
Yeah,
he came in with the snacks.
That's right. But the idea is that if you're gonna have an award, just don't say, "Hey, congratulations, we won this award. Good for us." Why would anyone read that? Why would anyone care? That's not useful. But if you say, "Look, we love the fact that our people are so, let's say, collaborative. Maybe your brand is all about collaboration. We collaborate every single day, and we're so thrilled to see that becomes so clear that people give us awards for that sort of thing. So thanks so much to blah 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 for giving us this award." It doesn't take much like headlines. It doesn't take much to put a little bit of brand spin on that, to not just feel like you're throwing anything against the wall and hoping something sticks, but to tell a more compelling and clear and cohesive story. That's how you get the best people to want to apply, to get what you're about and say, I want to be a part of that.
I would argue too, even when you have an event, follow up on that post and be like, this is how it went. Sorry. And be like, this is how it went. Like, oh yeah, thanks so much, blah, 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 for joining us. And cultivate that community, right? Cultivate community.
Nurture it.
Showcase what you're talking about.
Yeah,
showcase
my favorite example is
about interesting things.
Yeah, my favorite example is the company who says, "Hey, we care about DEI, so we invited famous speaker XYZ to come speak to us about DEI." End of post. What? Yeah, why? Who? And trust me, that's not one company. I see that over and over again. Tell us what you learned. Tell us how you're going to change. Tell us what you're going to do differently. That's really interesting. That's compelling copy. Hey, you paid for a speaker to show up and do the blah, blah, blah without the little eyeballs
blah,
here.
blah, blah.
Exactly. And no one here does
I wish
the blah,
someone
blah,
paid
blah.
me to do the blah, blah, blah.
I know, right?
too.
I hear you. I hear you, buddy. But that's the thing is like you've got to connect it to something that candidates actually care about, and nobody cares that your CFO is going to a conference or going to an investors club or whatever. What they care about is what is this company offering its people.
All right, James, I want to thank you so much for joining us here. Where could folks find you? Where could they connect? Where could they learn more?
I'm on LinkedIn, but honestly, if you want more interesting information about employer brand, go to employerbrand.ing, employer branding. All my resources are there, and most of them are free.
Awesome. James Ellis, everybody. James Ellis in the house. And let's kick it over to the band with the...
Will
What do you want me to tell you about, man?
I need to know how long. Tell us a little bit about this family business. How long has it been in the family for? And like, were your parents like, oh my God, like we're going to revolutionize the world of electric
It's actually a
go-karting?
great story. So in 2008, my mom lost her job. She worked in high tech, software sales, and my brother was going to college at the same time. And it's like, oh shit, like how are we gonna pay for this, right? Because he went to USC. And so my brother and my dad went cross country in my dad's 1985 red Porsche.
Nice.
And when they got there, they went go-karting in like Northern California. And my brother gets out of the cart and he's like, Dad, if you don't do this with the rest of your life, you're crazy. So my dad comes back with a fever dream, as he normally did. He's an immigrant, of course. And he was basically like, hey, to my mom, I'm going to start a go-karting business and I want you to be the CEO and help me run it. And that's, they put all their savings and they,
Oh my
they
God.
started the business and it's successful.
I love it. Let's try this one more time. Let's kick it over to our man,
Clarky Clark.
Clark.
Not much. Couple technical difficulties. Are we back? We're good? You can hear me? What's up? Not much. I was just digging what James Ellis had to say and enjoying the snacks. But what are we talking about today? Things that recruiters hate to hear. And I know everyone on here is going to have some thoughts, some ideas. I had some. My first one was, let me introduce you to our new HR person, Adam. I know you can resonate with that. Oh no, my best client just went out the window. We found someone internally, internal referral, which again, shout out to Aaron, which was interesting earlier to kind of hear kind of that little tug of war. But there sounds like they're doing some great work, and we really like this person. But you have 5 more people we could see. Yeah. Turns out we never got the budget approved. We needed someone yesterday. What do you do, Adam? You sent him a candidate in 24 hours. Well, not that fast. And then I asked AI to come up with a few, and it came up with some candidate ones. I always get the flat tire back in like skilled trades recruiting. Oh, I got a flat tire. I couldn't make the interview. Let's see. I'm open to anything. I'm a fast learner. And then AI. Sorry, I can't make the interview. Mercury is in retrograde. Can you just interview my mom instead? She knows me best, which I thought was kind of a Gen Z thing, Danielle. I think that's real. Right? Yeah. So I'm really excited about this opportunity. What's the company name again?
Oh man.
What do you do again?
Yeah.
One of my least favorite is when they're like, yeah, we already interviewed that person. And the candidate never told you that. You're like,
And they
what?
just
Oof.
never applied. Yeah, so I think I'm in the middle of a 2-week silent retreat. Can you text me the offer? Which is very random. AI going rogue. And then I asked it to do in Rodney Dangerfield voice, which I was hoping maybe Adam could do a couple, but
Get
it's
no respect here.
yeah, I finally found the perfect candidate. I mean, perfect. I called the client all excited and say, "Hey, we found someone internally." Internally, the only thing I find
First, I
internally
thought you were crazy.
is,
Now I can clearly
is
see you're nuts.
indigestion. Yeah, exactly. So the Rodney Dangerfield ones were pretty good. But I don't know.
I've
Any
heard-
other ones you guys got?
Martha. That's some Ladybugs. One of the greatest underrated movies of all time. Ladybugs. Yes.
What a
I
mother.
don't know it. I'm so like not.
Danielle, you would
cultured.
love Ladybugs. It is like so. Anyway, we'll get to that later. Clark.
I'm
Continue.
so not cultured. I heard one recently, which was, oh yeah, we've moved this job outside of the U.S. because we don't want this offer to seem low, like a low ball offer.
Ugh.
Wow,
Ooh, I've not heard that one.
that's amazing.
The best is we've closed the rec. We've decided to close the rec.
Just for no reason.
We've decided internally.
No,
to
no,
close
there's
the rec.
always a reason. It's always a gut feeling. Like Tom in finance had a gut feeling, and cool. Thanks for wasting my time. I
Yeah.
love you though, secretly.
Yeah, that's those are the ones I got. Any other ones?
I mean, look, candidates all day to me, just being unprepared. That obviously is huge. Or like a hiring manager coming back and being like, "Oh yeah, that candidate, they weren't giving me eye contact.
Oh, that's a
Can't
weird
hire
one.
them. Oh, that's very inclusive."
How about when you ask them, hey, no, I didn't have time to read the job description or check out the company.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, you didn't have 5 minutes in the bathroom. Isn't that what everyone like? You had time.
After sending like 10 messages, like, please, I'll take anything. I'll take anything. I'm a quick learner.
I had one where I posted a job. It was for a project manager role. Talking about project managers earlier, but it was for masonry reconstruction. Okay, this is guys who are rebuilding stuff, and I literally had like 1,000 IT project managers, and so I decided to take a call. I'm like, hey, I'm calling about the masonry project manager role, and no one had any idea what I was talking about. So, yeah, proof that people don't read.
They don't.
No one reads anything.
No, the fun has been, I've been hearing like mechanics or people that have to go into the plant and actually work. Like, I'm actually looking for a remote role.
I'm looking for a remote and industrial role.
That's like how are you going to fix the machine?
A remote nursing role.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Healthcare heroes,
crazy.
from your living room. Yeah,
But I think it's an overall problem. I think people aren't reading anymore. People
No,
aren't
they're
reading
not.
the
They're
They
not.
don't read anything.
there's just too much noise, right? I mean,
They're just on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like I literally have a role. It's either says Seattle or remote, and people are saying in the email, they're like, "I don't live in Seattle," and they can ask
They
you to
read
move
it
there.
there. No,
I'm
they
like,
read it. They saw it.
But then they're counting that as part of their 1,000 applications that they're sending. Well, no one's getting back to me as well. So
Well, people are applying
it
for
can kind of
roles
go
that they
both
don't read.
ways, right?
Well, I think it's an interesting point. Well, Clark, we appreciate you. We're happy to have this segment. We're going to
Yeah.
keep the show moving. Clark, where can folks find you? Where can they connect with Clark Wilcox?
Connect with me on LinkedIn, Clark Wilcox, double L and Wilcox, or digitalrecruiter.io.
Puts the
Check it
will.
out.
Give us the
Thanks for having
will.
me.
Clark Wilcox. Clark, thank you so much.
Thanks, y'all.
Wait, I hear something ringing in my ear. Is that a second caller? Who could it be now?
Oh no.
Hey, how we doing, guys?
Sam
What's
from
up, Sam?
Hackajob.
Hello.
Hey, welcome. Yeah, good to be on. Good to be on. Great show so far. Loving it.
What is
Sorry about the
happening?
loss.
Ooh.
Soccer.
Oh, that is so sore. That is so sore. Do you know what? I played football on a Monday night, and we genuinely cancelled just through morning. Morning.
No, that's a tough one. But let's talk about some good news, right? Wreckfest UK just wrapped up at Knibworth Park, where they're famous for Oasis and Pink Floyd played some great shows, and also a great speaker by the name of Adam Posner in 2022 took the stage there.
Oh, the pause.
Pause at Knebworth, but there was something even bigger, a bigger announcement about Hackajob's intelligence product. What is the big news there, Sam?
Yeah, no, it's safe to say it blew up. Like we had every health and safety rule was broken as we kept just funneling people in. Like people just wanted to come and see it. They're like, "What's all this hype about?" And so we're like sneaking in people through the back door. We opened up a little gate around the back of the
There
tent.
we
People
go.
were like behind the AV watching.
That's
So yeah, we definitely built the hype train. I think it lived up to it, right? Yeah, it's a pretty special tool. I think we spend a lot of time talking about features and widgets and things which looked largely the same from tool to tool, but we got something different. I think it's like generationally different in tech recruitment and in sourcing just in general.
How so?
So beyond like keyword matching, right? Everything's done on keyword matching, whether that's your parsing software bringing in candidates at the front of the funnel, whether that's your Boolean strings that you're building out, whether you're using sourcing platforms, whether you're even taking like the actual requisition itself. You're having that conversation, you're writing down, okay, these are the 5 core things that I need to look for in this candidate. We're adding a lot of context to that. And that's through the beauty of having 50 million data points available to us at HackerJob from doing this for 10 years in tech. And then equally leveraging new technology which is around. And I think we wanted to be really like conscious of not doing something gimmicky when Gen AI was in vogue and first coming to the fore, and really spend some time building something. So yeah, forget matching with keywords, now match with context, right? Match with connected ecosystems. And like if you're looking for a dev who's got cloud experience and machine learning experience, previously you'd have to look at those 3 terms, but you'd miss out on somebody. And like a great example, if somebody's got AWS SageMaker, well, inherently they have to have 12 connected skills to be able to deliver on that skill. So it's about pulling in those knowledge trees, as we call them, knowledge graphs, and imagine those all growing off in multiple directions, thousands and thousands, millions of permutations of skills taxonomy that all play together back into matching with context, not keywords.
Matching with context, not
Super
keywords.
interesting.
Yeah, that's
I love
really
it.
Any pushback from the industry?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a little bit of hesitation, from people that might think, is this replacing a recruiter? I don't think that is the case at all. Like this is empowering recruiters to have better conversations, to be able to partner with the business in a better way. And I think like one of the core ways it does that is it draws information that you might not already know, right? We're surrounded by tech every single day. I use the AWS SageMaker example because I had no idea what that was, but now I know 12 connected skills, and I can go back and have a more informed conversation with a hiring manager, right? So yeah, I think it's about that connectivity. Outside of that though, like people are loving it, and like it's that magic moment that we're looking for the existing customers that are online already. It's that light bulb moment of finding a candidate that you otherwise wouldn't have found through another source. Like it doesn't matter how many channels you got turned on, doesn't matter how many tools you've got bringing things in at the top of the funnel. Like if you're matching on keywords and you're not matching on connected, like on the connectivity between those keywords, then you're limited in terms of what you can find. Or you're spending great deals of time doing deep research to get to that same answer, which you can get to much faster.
So let me get this straight. You basically just like type in what you want, and then you'll come up with a bunch of suggestions for different candidates that they should reach out to?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So it's like conversational, prompt-based recruiting almost, right? You're
Sounds
just
like
posting
designer
it in,
babies.
or you download, your job description in, and it will define a prompt for you, which you're then building on as a human on top of that.
Sam, could I put in, I want candidates to read the job description?
Yeah. Very good.
Zero
And I think
results.
Zero results. Good one, Joel.
Still the same thing stands true though with HackerJob and like the way that we work, because it's a reverse marketplace. Candidates are building their profiles once, and when you're then reaching out, they still have that ability to say yes and say no. So I think that's like a conscious selection to enter into your process rather than like this mass apply culture, which I think is like needed almost to some extent on the candidate side, because they're not getting the responses, so their noise volume drives up until they get the signal, and then on the employer's side the noise volume drives up until they get the signal, and we're hoping to find that happy medium and continue to, and this just accelerates that.
It's a fascinating space to watch, the technology, but what's more fascinating is what is in that jar behind you?
Oh man,
Is it like a biodome? Is it biodome?
Yeah, they're both biodomes.
Pauly Shore in there?
This one here is 14 years old, never been opened.
Oh wow!
I dare you.
Yeah.
No. Right on the air, exclusive.
Hey, look, we can start like a raffle.
Wait,
That's a good idea.
It's a self-contained. But let me. I get back to it too. But like, there have to always be innovation in the recruiting space. You always have to bring the human element in. You have to find it more awesome. Sam, give us a shout out. Where could folks find more?
Check us out, hackerjob.com. We're going to be at RecFest Nashville as well. I know a few folks have been on this already are there, and what a town that is, and we'll be sharing this story again. And then we got a LinkedIn Live on the 31st of July, but you're not going to, be able to come across anyone from HackerJob without us posting and talking about this over the next few months and years, and watching it all unfold.
I love to see the empowerment.
Wow.
I love to see the excitement. I love
it.
to see the innovation. Sam from Hack a Job, thank you so much for joining us today. Guys,
Awesome. See you soon.
guys, thank you. Sam, guys, we've reached the end. We've reached the end. But
Wow.
before we sign off, let's give one more big shout out to our friends Mike and the team over at Erin. Fantastic. They're awesome. You know where to check out more. Erin at.
ERIN.
Yes, and check out where's Serge? Where's our
Yeah.
weatherman? Let's bring our esteemed weatherman back onto the screen here. We'll bring Serge back here. Everyone, please go check out purpleacorn.io.
Eggcorn. Did you say Eggcorn?
Purpleacorn. Acorn.
Acorn.
It's acorn.
It sounds like Eggcorn.
Acorn.
Acorn. Acorn.
There he is.
Yeah.
Weatherman making it rain.
Let's get Joel. Let's get our snack guy in here too.
Aw, the
Let's
fam.
get the whole
back
team. Let's get
together.
everyone up in here.
We need a big hug.
Nice
Can we-
little reunion.
Oh no, we need more
Oh,
screens.
no,
Sorry,
we
no, we
need-
lost our weather guy.
Oh no.
Kick Surge out.
We kick Surge
Yeah,
out.
Surge.
All right, everyone let's give our own Gen Z word of power. Our own Gen Z word of power to close us out here. Let's start, ladies first. What's your Gen Z word of power?
Word of power.
What the hell are you talking about?
I don't know.
What
Leave
is
us with
that?
something good. Leave us with something good. Leave us with a good thought.
Slay the day. That's what I'm gonna say.
I like that. Joel, what's your words of encouragement?
Yeah. My word of encouragement is if you go into an interview, don't bring that cap. Don't use an AI to cap, you know?
And don't bring your parents.
Don't bring your
Bring
mother.
your parents.
Don't bring your mother.
Leave your mother at home.
Leave your mother at home. We
I like-
take capping over here.
I like how we tied this all together. I want to thank our team behind the scenes, everyone back there working hard on this. I want to thank Evan White, Melinda, Ben, and everyone behind the scenes there, and my co-host Joel Lalgee, Danielle Farage. And my name is Adam Posner. And join us next and every Tuesday morning
Let's
for
go.
the HR Purple Acorn Morning Show. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day and a great week. Take care. Bye-bye.